I'll tell you what, you know, nature's got its recycling systems working well, hasn't it? I mean, all of this stuff, all these leaves that you see on the ground now, will break down, rot down, and will become soil. Then that soil, with all of its nutrients, will be taken up by the tree in the spring and used to create new leaves, which will then photosynthesize, create all the food the tree needs, and then come the autumn, it'll withdraw the chlorophyll from its leaves, they'll all go brown and they'll drop again, and the cycle begins. It's just extraordinary. If only we humans could be so good at recycling. Well, the weather's been very kind to us since the last meander. It's a bit windy, it's a bit cold, but look at this lovely sunshine. I mean, look at it, wow. It's lovely, considering we're in mid-November. This is really rather nice. It's only about 11. We've had no frosts or anything like that. It's been lovely. And, you know, not far off being a month from Christmas. So yes, it's all good. And if it stays like this all week, I should be enjoying my walks. And so will Harris, who's currently making sure that Guelder rose is watered enough. Some of the fantastic volunteers, none of which are spring chickens, it must be said, they're out here today fixing the paths, sorting out the potholes, and making sure that we'll have a firm surface to walk on during the winter. They are splendid, splendid people. Local heroes. Love them. Time for today's bit of deer spotting. I wonder if they're out on the farm field today. Let's have a look. Wonder how it's looking lovely, isn't it? I love autumn. Let's have a look. Any deer out here today? No, not seeing any, but then again, I mean, they can be found all across this big field here, right up to the top there. I've seen them up there. I've seen them also in the field next door. I haven't seen any in the sheep field, but there are electric fences around there. But nevertheless, it's always nice to see them when I do. So, let's move on. Oh, what's that growing there? So I've got to go and have a quick look. Oh. Not quite sure what they are. They look a bit like oxeye daisies, but they're not oxeye daisies, I don't think. I'm going to have to look those up. Apparently it's something called mayweed, which is part of the chamomile family. It's a new one to me. I've not seen it growing over here, but comparing mayweed in the book and the shape of the leaves and the foliage with what I saw there, it looks right. So there you go, mayweed. It's November. Don't drink out of the puddles. Honestly, what are you like? I've always tried to stop him drinking out of puddles by these farm fields because, of course, the reason there are puddles there is the fact that the field's got a camber and that's where the runoff goes. And consequently, any chemicals that are on the fields, you know, any sort of fertilizers or any weed killers and that are going to go along with the water. But this field has been lying fallow for over a year now with nothing sprayed on it and nothing done to it, because it was originally being grown as fodder for the sheep, although they've gone into a different field now. So it should actually be reasonably safe. Still, I will try and discourage him from drinking out of puddles if I can. Not always easy. I do love the colour of these white beam leaves. How do I know they're white beams? Just turn it over, look at that. If this was ordinary hornbeam, it'd be the same colour on both sides, but that is a lovely colour, isn't it? That's a lovely bronze, look at it, almost like a metallic bronze. Autumn's brilliant. This is pretty much the only part of the local woodlands which has a lot of beech. So you'd expect there to be quite a lot of fungus, but not seeing much this year. Not seeing much. It hasn't been a great year for fungus, full stop, as I've said before. We've had a few, you know, interesting ones coming out. You know, there's some brackets on there, but they're from ages ago, and they've all gone over now. And let's have a look up here. Oh, there, Mr. Blackbird. And let's have a look up through here. No, see, these stumps have normally got good old growth on them. That stump down there, I had some oysters off there last year, but nothing this year. It looks like there's an old puffball down there that's already been burst. But other than that, no, nothing here. Nothing here. Looks like an old turkey tail or something growing on there. Nothing great. Now, this is the piece of wood that I've actually bashed my head on twice. Due to looking at the ground for fungus. Not going to make that mistake today. No siree. Because it hurts. Walking into a tree hurts. Because, you know, the tree doesn't absorb the impact. It doesn't move at all. So all the impact's reflected back into my head. Ouch. Nearly at the end here. Yeah, bit of a bust. But still nice to walk through here. Lovely example here I can't walk past of how holly grows. Now this is holly. You wouldn't believe it, would you? It looks so normal and bland with just one point on the end. But the spikes on holly plants grow as a result of predation. Once the deer start nibbling these leaves, a chemical signal goes to the plant. It thinks, uh-oh, I better protect myself. And the leaves start to develop spikes. And the more they get predated, the more and more spikes they produce. Until you get to an area where the deer can reach really easily and there's spikes everywhere. Isn't that interesting? Yeah, like here, like low down here. Look how many spikes are on these low branches, look. I am absolutely loving this autumn sunshine. It's a lovely time of day to walk. I'm out at about 9:30 in the morning on a Sunday and it's beautiful. There's hardly anyone around. Really quiet, not even that many helicopters, which pleases me immensely. It's just great. Oh look, a rare sighting this time of year. Tennis ball moss. Of course it isn't a moss. More candle snuff fungus here. No matter what time of year it is, there's always fresh green nettle tops for making soup. Look, this one's even going to seed, and we're a month from Christmas. The male plants don't make such good eating. You can always tell the male ones because they stick upwards. They're erect and they stick out from the side of the plant, whereas the female ones hang in clusters. Another sunny day. I have to say, mid-November is a bit of a treat. Cold, of course, bit of a breeze. Got my scarf on, but what a treat. It's lovely. There are a number of things I've always got on me when I'm out walking. I've always got my dog whistle. I've always got the little macro lens that I can clip onto this phone. I've usually got my stick, of course. And I've also got a couple of other things, like I've got a plant identification guide, a foraging guide, a little pocket book in my pocket called Food for Free by Richard Mabey. And I've also got this curious object. Can you guess what it is? As it says on there, nagi.co.uk. That's my friend Naj. Now Naj makes things. He's an absolutely brilliant maker. And he started making these a few years ago and he gave me one. And I'm delighted that he did, because this is a mushroom mirror. You see, when you're trying to identify a species of mushroom and figure out whether it's edible or whether it's going to give you gastric distress, then there's a number of things you've got to look for. You know, there's the colour, there's the smell, there's all those sorts of things. But some of the most identifiable features are found underneath the mushroom. So you're looking at the stipe, which is the stalk. Oh, bloody noisy aircraft. To recap, amongst the things that are most important for identifying a mushroom are the stipe, which is the stalk, and the underneath of the umbrella on the top. And sometimes that means gills, sometimes that means pores, but nevertheless they are all different colours, all different shapes, you know, and whether the gills connect to the stipe or whether they don't, all those sorts of things are all identifying factors. But the only way you can usually see those is by actually picking the mushroom, and then of course you can't replant it, so that's that. That's where the mushroom mirror comes in, because you slide it underneath the top of the mushroom, the crown of the mushroom, and you can see the gills and the pores. course, the problem now is it being late in the season, there aren't many mushrooms around, certainly none of any decent size. So trying to find one I can demonstrate this for you is proving to be quite difficult. And now we have a bloody helicopter. Of course we do. No issue hiding behind the trees, I can hear you. Okay, so here we are, little group of mushrooms. Now I happen to know what these are anyway. But look how useful this is. I can look underneath that mushroom there and I can examine its gills. I can see they're sort of browny pinkish. Can you see that? I can also look at the stipe. There we are, let's see. Isn't that great? That's a meadow wax cap, by the way. I'm just checking again for any deer today, and there's two just ahead there. I don't know whether you can quite see them, but there's two in the middle of the field. Just look at the end of my stick, they're just there in front of my stick. Two of them just lying there in the field. Oh, there's another one to their left. There's one sort of over there as well. He's got his ears pricked up, he's staring at me. That's rather nice, isn't it? Can't get any justice with this really, because it's just, they're too far away, but all three of them have just stood up. And they are standing in the middle of the field now. But I'll leave them in peace. Enjoy their peaceful time. And I shall carry on walking up here with my fearsome hunting dog. If it's because sometimes I'm a little bit overexcited, you know, living in the countryside and seeing something like roe deer or foxes or red kites and things. The thing I should stress here is that while this is lovely countryside around here, it's also still in the southeast of England and, you know, a busy part of the southeast. Where I live is kind of equidistant between London and Oxford, and consequently I can be in either city within an hour. And the fact that this is so close to those big centres of population, and yet we still have all this fabulous countryside and wildlife, it's something to celebrate. And I love being able to go into Oxford whenever I want. I love being able to go into London whenever I want. But what I also love is that when I get on the train and start coming home, as the train journey progresses, everything starts changing from concrete and red brick to fields and trees, and it gets greener and greener and greener as the journey progresses. And I know I'm heading home, because by the time I get here, it's all fields, it's all farms and countryside, and it's quite lovely. Another big fallen warrior. I wonder how old he was when he fell. Just look at these colours. It's all beech and hornbeam and hazel and white beam. Oh, and also holly, lots of holly, and the holly berries are out. Nothing makes you feel more wintry than holly berries, does it? A bit early for Christmas. You know, it's only mid-November, so I'm not going to say Christmassy yet, and I'm certainly not feeling Christmassy, but definitely feeling wintry when you see the holly berries. Isn't this wonderful? I'm just going to let you look at this for a minute or two. And do you know what? I think that's it for this week. I'll see you all again next week. Toodle pip. And don't forget that our Neo-Pagan Wheel of the Year calendar is now available to pre-order. UK residents simply scan the QR code. Overseas customers email us at copa.artist@gmail.com and we'll try and work out the cheapest way of posting it to you. Thanks very much. If you've enjoyed this video, then please consider subscribing. Or click on some of these links to look at some of the other videos on the channel. Or press the like button. Or leave a comment. It would be lovely to hear from you. Any combination of those four things would be wonderful. Thank you very much.